welcome. I hope this video finds you happy, healthy, and safe. My name is Rhonda with Rhonda's Craft Frenzy. I appreciate you spending your time here with me today, so thank you so much for that. Today I'm going to show you how I put together these 3 home decor farmhouse pieces with the spring theme in mind. It's right around the corner and it's my favorite time of year. So let's get right into it. I'll beat you to the craft table. I started out with a plastic cutting board from the Dollar Tree and I painted it with territorial beige. Then I hot glued a piece of ribbon over the painted area only, and I did that because I didn't want to see the white coming through the burlap. The next thing I did was I took a piece of jute string and I glued it all the way around just to give the burlap a border. And once that was done, I found this pick at the Dollar Tree of this cute little mug, and I cut the mug out and I glued that on top of the burlap. I used letters that also came from the Dollar Tree and I spelled out hot coffee, put those on, then I put a coat of Mod Podge over the entire burlap surface, and to finish it I added a burlap bow. I came up with this idea for my sister-in-law because she's in the middle of doing a kitchen redo and she's incorporating a coffee theme, so I hope she likes it. So for my second DIY, I started out with a wooden flower in one of those double wooden boxes that came from the Dollar Tree. I also used a piece of scrap paper that someone gave me. I'm not sure where it came from. But I traced out the flower onto the paper and used a glue stick to attach it. I used a piece of sandpaper to trim off the excess paper, and I like using this method because I find it to be such a cleaner looking edge. I did it around the entire flower, and then I took the round wood piece that came in a pack, I think there was 6 in a pack, came from the Dollar Tree, and I hot glued this really pretty green ribbon that also came from the Dollar Tree, and then I trimmed off the extra. I wanted it to have a little bit of texture in the middle, so I cut that same burlap into strips and then I added them onto the middle piece in a crisscross manner. I hot glued jute string around the centerpiece and also on the outside of the flower. Then I added the same jute in a little circle piece in the middle of the flower, and I hot glued that round piece right onto the flower. Then I wanted to do something with that flower opening in the box, so I used another piece of my scrapbooking paper and I hot glued it to the inside of the box. Then I grabbed a small dowel rod, I cut it to size with my miter shears, and of course I stained it with my favorite antique wax. I used some foam to fill the box. I added hot glue to the end of my stick and I pushed it into the foam. Then I flipped the flower over and I hot glued the rod to the back of the flower and added a little piece of ribbon just for a better hold. Then I took some glass piece vase filler, just for a little bit of weight, put some moss over the top of that, and I added a bow in the same color of the center of the flower, and then I put that cute little pink flower on it that I found from the dollar store, and this DIY was done. I might go back in and shorten the rod up a little bit. I'm not really sure if I like how tall it is. Let me know what you guys think. And for my last DIY today, I started out with 2 small houses I found at the Dollar Tree. And they had flowers on the front that I had to remove. Oh my goodness, those little things were stuck on there so good. I had to scrape them off and then I had to glue over to smooth the whole surface before I could start painting. I used a white chalk paint on it, and when it was still wet, I went over it again with a mineral color. Then I set it aside to dry. While I was doing that, I used this wooden sign from the dollar store and I painted it white, but I used that same wet brush that I had used with the mineral chalk paint. Then I went back over the sign with the mineral chalk paint with a dry brushing technique, and then I went over the houses in the same technique as the dry brushing with the white. I then glued the houses together with some tacky glue and some hot glue just for a stronger hold. And then I added a couple of wood blocks underneath the bottom, and I had to do that just to make it stand up a little bit stronger and sturdier. It was a little bit wobbly without them. I cut some giant wood craft sticks the size of the house, stained them with antique wax, and then I glued them in place. Next, I added letters. The first letter of our last name, I used the larger size letters that comes from the Dollar Tree. And then for each family member's name, I used the smaller letters, also from the Dollar Tree. For this part, feel free to use your Cricut or your Silhouette. I didn't use mine because I know everyone doesn't have them, and I wanted to show people that there are alternatives out there. I covered the surface with Mod Podge to prevent my letters from lifting. And I didn't show it in the video, but I did glue a small piece of boxwood greenery on the O in the home sign to make it look like it had a little wreath on it. I let it all dry, and this was finished. This was my favorite piece in the video, and I hope you like it too.